There is no place in America like Pikes Peak region.
The Outdoor Pikes Peak Initiative is a locally rooted, state-supported process.
Along with all of the regional work we're doing now, it's really setting the foundation not just for us to enjoy the outdoors today, but for future generations as well.
We've also, through this process, identified a number of really specific strategies that I think could set us up for the future.
The OPPI process has made it possible for all of us to sit at the same table, talk about how we want to conserve those places and how we can move forward.
You know, everyone has a different vision of what the outdoors should be. How do we make sure that we're bringing everyone to the table when we're making decisions about public lands so that we can pick the right opportunities?
Find that right balance so that the quality of our recreational experiences really can continue into the future.
We want to make sure that whatever plan we have is sustainable and can continue for this generation, next generation, and is respectful of the wildlife that calls the peak home.
It's the outdoors that really bring people here. It's the outdoors that people want to go see. It's the outdoors that our businesses want to be a part of, to bring their employees to. It's the outdoors, which is our greatest asset in our community, that really puts us above so many other cities and communities our size. It is our competitive advantage.
So how can we preserve those recreational experiences?
I think it's important that we all have a venue to sit next to one another, discuss what we feel to be important, and to converse about how we can protect this land that we all call our own.
We all have to come together to really champion what's important for us so that for future generations, we all can experience what's really special about this place.
This will not be a plan that just sits on the shelf. This will be a plan that shows results. This will be a plan that will make the Pikes Peak region better for our kids and grandkids.
If you want to move fast, go on your own. If you want to move far, go together.
But now it's time for us to turn the page, and we're going to take all of that work and think about, well, how do we operationalize these things? How do we implement some of the things that we've seen are so important? And it's going to take you. It's going to take us. It's going to take all of us coming to the table, leaning in, putting aside some of our differences, and thinking about how together can we make generational impact in our outdoors.
This OPPI process is really important because we're looking at how we can both protect the resource, but also increase the access so that we can provide opportunities for all. We are made to be in the outdoors.
A lot of wonderful work has been going on for years, and I'm so thankful for the foundation that's been laid here in our region. But now as we're moving into a new era of collaboration, we're able to see how we can work together through the OPPI process. And by working together, we're able to go so much further. Because as the saying goes, if you want to move fast, go on your own. If you want to move far, go together.
We are grateful for the process of OPPI to help all of us find a voice in the processes that will allow us to prioritize recreation management, wildlife management, water use, and other agricultural interests. We have the honor of living here now, but also passing this land down to our generations to come.
We're growing very rapidly. There's a lot of people that are coming to the state of Colorado, and particularly this region, because they're really interested in recreation. They form strong bonds with being outside.
As our population is growing, as new folks are coming out to enjoy the outdoors, as habitat is being threatened in different places, we all have to come together to really champion what's important for us so that for future generations, we all can experience what's really special about this place.
Over 1 million people by 2049, and a lot of our infrastructure and our natural resources just aren't up for the task.
The OPPI process will make it easier for us to identify projects and potentially fund them into the future.
I was delighted that there was such a good balance between opportunity and conservation.
we have a conversation all the time in Colorado about balancing conservation with recreation. More people are moving to town. How do we deal with this increase in interest in recreation? And how can groups like ours support recreation in synergy with conservation? How can we find the right recreational opportunities that create those synergistic links that actually compel people to stay on trail and go to the places we know they want to go?
One of the things we're excited about is how OPPI has identified the disparities between the recreational opportunities that are available to the myriad of users out there.
But I think we're all collectively, come to this conclusion that we need to think about what comes next, and we need to prepare ourselves. We need to have the resources in place. We need to find new ways of working together to really take care of these amazing resources and places.
As our community continues to grow, we really appreciate the opportunity to work with the OPPI to gather information and data and figure out what's important to our community and how we can and should move forward appropriately, responsibly, and with the care that Colorado deserves.
This is something that is happening across the state of Colorado. Here in the Pikes Peak region, though, we were one of the first, but this has spread, and this focus is to really champion the things that are so special about Colorado all across it. Here in the Pikes Peak region, we know we have amazing assets, places we love to go, we love to see the wildlife, we love to explore new areas. We've got some iconic natural assets all across it, and recreational opportunities that are like no other place.
We have so many different demographics and such a long history with both recreation, conservation, and also agriculture. The OPPI process has made it possible for all of us to sit at the same table, talk about how we want to conserve those places and how we can move forward. Some of the projects that we have on public lands and also on private lands require that we talk to each other, discuss our plans, and hopefully communicate before any issues arrive.
I think one of the things I liked so much about that process was how comprehensive it was. You know, the organizers bent over backwards to get as many people involved as possible, to hear from all different kinds of voices, to make sure that at the end of the day, we had a product, we had a plan that truly represented the region.
And that's what the Outdoor Pikes Peak Initiative is about. It's about thinking about the future, leaning on the legacy of the past, bringing together partnerships that we've had established and new ones, new voices, to think strategically about the future. This is a 3-county process where we have El Paso County, Fremont County, and Teller County, all with different needs, all with different focuses, but all sharing the values of love for the outdoors. And we're coming together to make sure that as we think about the future, we're planning smartly.
How do we make sure that we're bringing everyone to the table when we're making decisions about public lands so that we can pick the right opportunities?
Watching the relationships develop between people who might not ever have sat at the same table together, whether it's a rancher and a mountain biker or an equestrian and a water conservationist, I think it's important that we all have a venue to sit next to one another, discuss what we feel to be important, and to converse about how we can protect this land that we all call our own.
Not only have we heard from our communities all around Pikes Peak, but we've also been embracing great conversation with many of the land managers who have been responsible for taking care of and have been good stewards of these resources for literally decades and decades.
That we're really excited about. We've gotten community engagement, we've gotten engagement from our businesses, the public, visitors, and key officials that are land managers really helping us kind of take care of Pikes Peak.
And I've been through a lot of planning processes before. Where they fall short is where you either don't get the kind of input, the public input that you need for a good, defensible answer, a plan that people can get behind and really move forward. That wasn't this process. This process bent over backwards to get as many people involved as possible from different areas around the Pikes Peak region.
We had to build new partnerships, we had to rely on existing partnerships, we had to bolster those up and really work hard to come up with the strategies, the action items, and the projects that we've come up with through this process.
Our students have been at the forefront of this collaboration, utilizing their skills and creativity to create innovative mapping tools that will benefit our region for generations. Our vision was to create a resource with seamless connections that allow everyone to enjoy the natural beauty of Pikes Peak. By leveraging data, we can map out these connections, ensuring that every community has access to the outdoor spaces and that trails are interconnected, fostering a sense of unity and exploration. The purpose of the Outdoor Pikes Peak Hub is to communicate outdoor-related information to the public and community leaders of our three-county Pikes Peak region, El Paso, Fremont, and Teller counties.
To help support this growth and development is an exciting piece as well. It gives us a really good idea and a really good tool to decide where recreation should be planned and where it's not so wise to have recreation, more of a conservation area.
A lot of tremendous outdoor conservation and recreation planning has taken place within many of the communities around the Pikes Peak Massive. But what's unique about the Outdoor Pikes Peak Initiative is that this is one of the first times that we're thinking much broader. We're thinking more regionally. And we're taking a lot of that great planning that's happened in the past that so many people have worked hard to bring together, putting those pieces together and thinking, if you will, through this bigger, broader lens.
Throughout the OPPI process, we have leaned in with the public, with stakeholders, with our elected officials, to really listen to one another about what's so important. We asked some very open-ended questions, and then we took all of that information from focus groups, from listening sessions, from surveys, from individual interviews, and we distilled it down to some awesome strategies and a way forward for the Pikes Peak region. We've heard from folks from all across the three counties in so many different ways, and together we came up with some very common themes. And it was so exciting to see the balance of outdoor recreation needs and focus and conservation, natural resource needs and focus. And together we've come through and figured out, how do we create some decision support tools? How do we create some great strategies? What are the projects that have risen to the top that check so many boxes for our communities going forward? And that's what the OPPI is all about.
So I'm very, very optimistic. This will not be a plan that just sits on the shelf. This will be a plan that shows results. This will be a plan that will make the Pikes Peak region better for our kids and grandkids.
And that's why we need this OPPI process to kind of really think forward on what does this area look like in the coming 5, 10, 20 years, and how do we strategically plan for that? When we talk about really valuing our resource and really planning for that, one of the primary issues is building stakeholders. The more stakeholders that we have that really love and enjoy our outdoors, the more support that we'll have to really go into protecting the resource that we love so much.
That I think could set us up for the future. Both strategies and projects that we know are going to take all hands on deck. They're going to require a lot of managers, land managers, our elected officials, our community members, our advocates, and the folks that are out enjoying our recreational areas to really come together and define a better future, a future that both respects the past and the amazing resources, but also prepares us for more recreational demands.
And obviously growth to the west with trail development and recreation opportunities will help alleviate some of the overuse on the east side of the Pikes Peak region. And that's going to be very good as well, to relieve some of those overused parks and trails and build some new opportunities for folks to get out and enjoy the outdoors on the western and southern part of the Pikes Peak region.
The OPPI process has made it possible for us to access and utilize a number of different resources that we in Fremont County would not have had access to before. We appreciate all of the work that experts have done to gather resources, gather data, and then create a resource that can be utilized into the future.
Our whole community can get behind certain projects that are of priority for everyone.
The Trails and Open Space Coalition was the organization that championed the planning process that now has a way to complete that ring that has been, the vision of this region for decades. I mean, we look at some of the amazing trails around the country that people have experienced. In our backyard, the Colorado Trail is remarkable. The Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail. There's no reason Ring the Peak couldn't be in that short list of trails that people from all over the world yearn to enjoy and appreciate, and it's in our backyard.
Multiple use motorized single track trails in the area is an underserved recreational opportunity. We're also excited that OPPI has learned and listened to people along the process that there's a need for training and educational facilities to help train our new users, our new riders, in how to be safe, responsible users of our outdoor environment.
In Fremont County, we hope to utilize our vast public lands, along with the coordination with private landowners, to make sure that everyone has a place to play outside, enjoy mental health, and see how beautiful the state of Colorado really is.
Here in the Pikes Peak region, we get many values from our outdoors, and one of those is economic vitality. And we know that this comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes, but our tourism is certainly a part of it. Our visitors are a big part of our economic vitality here in the Pikes Peak region, particularly in our urban core. Some of our rural communities would like to see some of that in their area as well, but we need great management to make sure that when people come here, we can help them understand how to recreate and where to go. We need some good planning so that we have strategic trails, strategic signage, things that help people know how to enjoy our outdoors.
For the city of Cripple Creek, this means a lot of potential for us to grow our trail system, to grow our recreation tourism opportunities, and invite folks to come up and not only check out what Cripple Creek has to offer in the rich gold mining district, but also learn more about history of the area. We're excited about protecting our areas for bighorn sheep. That's a very important thing.
When we think about economic development within our community and how we compete with other cities, we have to look at what is it that sets us apart. And there's nothing like Pikes Peak that does that. No one else has Pikes Peak. And that's where we need to make our investments. We need to look at how can we both protect Pikes Peak and have a strong conservation values, but also look at opportunities to grow access, to allow more people to experience the wonders that we have right here in this community.
At the beginning of the project, we discussed thinking differently about access to the outdoors and how we'd love to have people's front doors be their gateway to experiencing our amazing outdoors.
I stood there with my children and began to walk the trails, knowing that this property isn't only something that I can enjoy, but my children's children's children will be able to walk this same parcel and enjoy the beauty all around us with breathtaking views of Pikes Peak that wouldn't be possible without the groundwork and foundation that so many of us are working on behind the scenes today.
It's really great to be working with the partners on the OPPI project. Colorado Parks and Wildlife has been instrumental in getting these partnerships formed and the collaboration that we're hoping happens. U.S. Forest Service and BLM have also been very great partners. We're excited to be working with them. Teller County, El Paso County, and Fremont County. The commissioners there are involved and excited about this new initiative and opportunities for the expansion of recreation in the Pikes Peak region, as well as conservation in the area to protect our natural beauty and the uses that our citizens deserve to have into the future. We're excited about this opportunity and looking forward to working with all of these partners.
And when it comes to this conservation ethic, the opportunities that are afforded when we think much more broadly, when we think in this big, broad landscape perspective, new partnerships, new possibilities, And I think smart strategic thinking comes forward.